Chapter 4. The Draw. Flames danced in the stone fireplace. A golden glow spilled across the room, painting long flickering shadows on the walls. The hearth was cluttered with handcrafted charms and carved wooden figures, smoothed by time and wear. Above the hearth, the mantel was crowded with rolled maps, aged scrolls, and an assortment of jars filled with oddities like shimmering powders, dried flowers, and what looked like fragments of crystal. Korric's home was chaos. Every surface was crammed with something: artifacts, tools, curiosities. The clutter always made Kai's head spin. Shelves lined the walls, packed tight with rusted mechanisms, polished stones etched with ancient language, and, curiously, a tarnished silver sextant beside stacks of ancient tomes. Why would he even need this? Kai thought. There's no stars in the Nightshawl. The book spines along the shelves bore faded glyphs that Korric probably understood, but were indecipherable for Kai. Maps covered what little wall space remained, torn and marked with symbols only his uncle could read. Wooden crates beneath the shelves overflowed with tangled nets, broken tools, and frayed rope. Propped in the corner, the weapon sat where it always did. Kai had seen it his whole life, a cylindrical contraption of scratched metal plates and exposed wires crudely spliced with whatever Korric could scavenge. Rust crept along its edges. Mismatched parts showed where his uncle had tried and failed to restore it. Along the side, Korric had scrawled, "Eric's Revenge," in rough lettering. Next to it, nearly worn away, was the emblem of the Ryn Dynasties. Kai knew so much and yet so little about it. He heard the theories from Korric a dozen times about a missing power source. Korric called it a cannon, but Kai couldn't see where the cannonball would go. To Kai, it was just another broken relic. But Korric treated it differently than the other salvage, as if it were a long-term project. His uncle obsessed over it, tinkering endlessly, convinced that he could make it work again. He kept coming back to it, fiddling for a churn or two, and put it away for several more. Around and around it would go. Beside the weapon sat a locked metal chest. New. Pristine metal, smooth and unmarked except for the intricate magic layered over its locking mechanism. Kai stared at it. "Oi, took the cliff entrance again, didn't ya?" Korric asked, crouching to stoke the fire. "I keep telling ya, that path's a bloody death trap." "You think I'm stupid?" Kai shrugged off his cloak and hung it on a nail. The shadows were swarming everywhere, hunting for something. "You want me to lead them straight into the grotto?" Korric grunted. Fair point. The old entrance was the only one clear. Even then, I had to distract a mist hunter to slip past. Korric went still. "That's so," he said. Kai nodded, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. It was searching. They're stirred up from here to Darknest. Something's got them riled. Korric put a kettle onto the fire and brushed soot from his hands. "Didn't follow you, did it?" "No," Kai replied. Korric's eyes flicked to the satchel, then back to Kai's face, looking him over. "Blimey, boy, you're looking half-starved," Korric remarked. "You eating proper out there?" "When I've got time." Kai reached into his satchel. "Mother packed you a fresh loaf." "Bless that woman." Korric's expression softened slightly. "More brains than the both of us put together." "You need to bloody eat, lad. Can't run a tread if you keel over." Then, "How's she holding up?" "She's managing. Alone most days now that I'm here." Korric stared at the fire. "Yeah. Grief's a bastard. Never goes away. Just sits there, on your back." "You could go see her," Kai said. "I know." He shifted. "I keep meaning to. I'll get up there." "When?" Korric shot him a look. "When I get a bloody minute, yeah? Don't start." Kai let it drop. He unshouldered his satchel and placed it on the counter with a thud. "Presilium." Korric tossed a coin purse across the table. "Good lad." He opened the first pouch, inspecting the powder. He pinched some between his fingers, then let it drift through. The dust caught faintly in the firelight. Quality stuff. Did May mill this? She did. Kai fastened the purse to his belt, then leaned against a table. So, what's next? Korric glanced up. You just got back. And I've got the itch, Kai replied. Course you do. Runs in the family. Can't sit still for 5 bloody minutes. He set down the pouch. There's always a bigger job. But not every risk is worth the price. Stick to the Priscillium supply. And what price would that be? Kai pressed. Your life, boy. Or worse, your bloody soul, boy. Korric leaned in. And I've seen what witches do to runners who aren't ready. Kai's gaze drifted absently to the locked chest in the corner, pressing further. I think I'm ready for something more than a few gleanings. I want a real challenge. Send me on a claim. A sharp slap on his back sent him stumbling forward 2 steps. Korric's gruff laugh followed. Ha ha ha! Combat runes first. Master those, then we'll talk. Do I really need them? Getting out of harm's way is my natural talent. I could pull off a claim without anyone noticing. Natural talent, is it? Korric snorted. Keep thinking that, boy. Maybe the witches will believe it, right before they gut ya. If they catch me. You're the one who told me, be like the jackrabbit, remember? I did. And what happens when you do get caught? When some witch pins you down and those false feet of yours don't mean a damn thing. Kai's fingers brushed over the runes on his gloves. Korric stepped closer. Look, you're shaping up to be bloody good. But if you get cocky, you'll fall hard. Study more before you bite off something that'll choke you. Kai couldn't pull his eyes from the iron chest. He pushed off the table and crossed the room. What's this? He asked, fingers brushing over the magic hovering across the lid's chest. It prickled beneath his touch. Leave that be, Korric said sharply. You're not helping by leaving it out in plain sight. Kai. The warning in Korric's voice was clear. But Kai had already traced the counter pattern with his fingers. The runes fell apart, and the chest unlatched with a soft click. He lifted the lid. Inside, nestled in worn cloth, lay a dagger made of pure Priscillium. Smooth, crystalline. Its surface fractured into intricate patterns that seemed to extend inward, endlessly. Kai stared. Korric. His voice came out quiet. This is Korric sighed heavily. Aye, a Kris'thal, like in the old stories. And it's dead. Just a pretty piece of history. Nothing more. Kai shook his head and reached into the chest. No, it's not. The moment his fingers touched the relic, it hummed. Light radiated from within the crystal, illuminating language along its surface. The glow grew brighter, responding to his touch. Korric straightened. What in the void? He stepped closer. I've handled that bloody thing a dozen times. Never did that for me. Kai turned the blade over in his hands. Warmth spread through his palm, then deeper into his skin, then his blood. The language scrolled across the surface in intricate patterns, shifting and reforming like they were reading something. It was reading him. The blade pulsed once, twice, then settled into a steady rhythm that matched his own heartbeat. The warmth intensified for a moment, then eased. The scrolling stopped. The runes locked into place, glowing steadily. Kai felt a connection of some kind, like the blade had learned him. Rune Runners were supposed to claim relics, but it seemed like this one claimed him. Where'd you get this? He asked. Some girl. Called herself Aira. Kai lowered the blade. And she just gave it to you? Tossed it at me, more like. She couldn't get rid of it fast enough. Korric tapped the counter. Been trying to work out why. It's powerful, boy. I've chased every scrap of the old world I could find. Stories, rumors, ravings most folk would call bloody nonsense. But this is the real thing. If we can find out how to use it, we can do some real bloody carnage around here. The Kris'thal juddered in Kai's hand, warm and steady. It wasn't just reacting to him now, it seemed. It was anticipating what Kai wanted to do before he actually did it. "Let me figure it out," Kai said. Korric blinked. "Come again." "It's reacting to me. You've handled it a dozen times. Has it ever done this before?" Kai held the blade higher. "That's not chance. And that's not reason enough to go mucking about with something that could kill you dead. But isn't that what we do? Mess with things we don't understand. We need leverage against the witches." "Don't throw my words back at me, boy." Korric's voice dropped. "You don't know what this thing does. Neither do I. And if it goes wrong," he stopped. "If it goes wrong, I've seen what happens when runners get cocky with relics. It ain't pretty." Kai stepped closer, grasp tightening on the blade. "And we'll never know if it sits in a box. It's a tool, Korric. Prosilium shaped by the Myr'ides. It's meant to be used." "You don't even know where to bloody start." Kai's mind raced. Oasivras. The ruins. The thought arrived clear and certain, like he'd known it all along. Of course. The Myr built their capital city there. If answers existed anywhere, they'd be in the ruins. "Yes, I do," he said. "The ruins. South of the Black Sentinel. That's cursed ground, lad. Nothing good comes out of there." "I'll just look around. In and out. Nobody'll know that I'm there." "The void's whole, you will." Korric's voice went flat. "You ain't going anywhere near that place." Korric reached forward and pried the Kris'thal from Kai's fingers. The warmth left Kai's palm instantly. Whatever connection was there was severed. "You're not ready," Korric said, placing the blade back into the chest. The lid closed with a soft thud, muffling the faint hum. He fastened the lock with a click. "You're not ready. Not for this." Kai opened his mouth, but before he could say anything, Korric interrupted. "Save it. Go upstairs and get some sleep. If you want to go chasing a claim, you'll need more than a sharp piece of crystal and your light feet." He turned away. "In the next turn we start combat. Proper training. None of this half-assed nonsense." Kai's jaw clenched. He wanted to push back, but Korric's expression said the conversation was over. His uncle was impossible when he got like this. He gave a curt nod and turned toward the stairs. Thoroughly dejected, his boots scuffed against the wooden risers as he climbed. His room felt like a prison. When he had come up earlier, he just collapsed onto the cot without bothering to undress, kicking off his boots and laying on his back, staring at the ceiling. He stayed in that position for several hours. But even in darkness, he could feel the Kris'thal downstairs. It was like an electrified hum in the air. It was calling to him. Kai turned onto his side, squeezing his eyes shut, willing sleep to take him. But sleep didn't come. Instead, a memory surfaced. The sting of disappointment. Many churns ago, Korric had passed him over for a tread beyond Barrendark, where the authority of the Nightshawl waned against the Witherblaze. Kai had been ready. He knew he was ready. But Korric hadn't seen it that way. Instead, he'd sent Raven and Arlen to scout the northern paths, leaving Kai behind to sort supplies and relay messages like some apprentice. After the tread, he'd sat with Raven along the shore just outside the grotto, watching her fletch arrows. "Don't sulk," she said without looking up. To be a Rune Runner is to take the path no one else dares, to claim what everyone else fears, and to take the witch's power to turn it against them. He scoffed and had skipped a stone hard across the water. Easy to say when you're the one getting sent. She had paused at his words, twisting the arrow between her fingers. You're treating this like a job. It's not. It's a calling. Her eyes met his. You hesitate. You wait for permission. If you wait for permission, you die. He had dismissed it then. Raven's usual word games. But now, lying here, with the Kris'thal humming somewhere below, what use is a Rune Runner who hesitates? The decision was immediate. It came as naturally as breathing. He swung his legs over the side of the cot, grabbed his lockpicks, and moved silently across the floor in his socks. He had left his boots behind. The workshop below was dark, except for dying embers in the hearth. Kai descended the stairs. They creaked despite his care. He froze, listening. Nothing. The iron chest sat where Korric had left it. Kai's fingers found the mechanism. He'd picked enough locks, mechanical and magical both, to know that this one wouldn't hold. His tools made barely a sound as he worked. The lock released with a click. His breath caught. Slowly, he lifted the lid. The Kris'thal glowed, as if in greeting. Arinava, called a voice from across the room. As it did so, a flame bloomed in that general direction. Kai snapped toward the incantation. It was Korric. He was sitting in his chair. He leaned forward with the small star floating over his palm. The light carved deep shadows across his face, which, at this moment, was scowling. I wondered how long you'd wait, Korric said. Thought maybe you'd actually listen for once. Guess I was wrong. I need to do this. No, you don't. And not this way, neither. Kai remained steadfast. You must think you're the first clever bastard to try nicking something from under my nose. Korric rose from his chair. I've buried fools who thought they were ready. Cocky lads and lasses who couldn't wait for greatness. You want to end up like them? Kai tossed up his arms. I'm not a fool. No, you're impatient, which will get you killed just as quick. Kai dropped his arms again. He tried to keep his frustration in check. You're being protective, I get it. But would you stop Raven or any of your other runners? You're all that's left of my brother. His voice went rough. His only son. I swore to him I'd keep you breathing. And every damn day since he shook his head. You think I don't see it? What's burning in you? I know what it's like, wanting answers and burning these witches to the ground. But you don't have the tools to fight yet. And you want to walk straight under the bloody Coven's keep. The words landed like blows, but he didn't look away. I'm not my father. I'm not after vengeance or blood. But you are after power. And what if chasing that power gets you killed? He leaned in so close that Kai could smell his breath. What then, boy? What do I tell your mother? What do I tell May? Kai didn't have an answer for that. Korric backed away and raked a hand through his beard. Power won't mean a damn thing if you're dead, boy. I buried your father with my own hands. I'll be damned if I dig yours too. Kai held his ground. How much more does this family have to lose before we try something different? Yeah, Eric's dead. How many girls have you trained to become runners, have never come back? How many villages do we watch the Nightshawl swallow while we keep our heads down, running the same supply routes? Scraping by. Oi, don't you? This dagger woke up from me. That's an invitation, Korric. And you want to slam it shut because you're afraid I might get hurt? Eric wanted you. Father died. And he was no weakling. How can we possibly have a fighting chance? How many more cycles do we wait? How many more die? The Nightshawl doesn't wait. The witches don't wait. And they're getting stronger while we're getting fewer. He stepped closer to Korric. My father would have gone. You know he would have. And you would have let him, because he understood the cost of doing nothing. Kai met his uncle's eyes. Then, slowly, he extended his arm. The Kris'thal balanced flat across his palm. He was offering it back. So, either you believe I'm a runner, Kai said firmly, or I'm just Eric's son you've been keeping safe. Which is it? He held the blade steady between them. Korric stared at the Kris'thal for a long moment. Then his rough hand closed over Kai's, folding his fingers around the hilt. Stubborn as a bloody mule. I've learned from the best. Korric shook his head. Right, but you do this my way. No heroics and no reckless bollocks. You smell trouble, you run, and you keep your head down. Understood, he said. And you come back alive, boy. In one piece. Kai nodded. The Kris'thal felt right, as if it understood Korric's request and was radiating confidence through Kai's grasp. Why don't you come with me? Korric huffed. Because I got my own mess to sort. Arlen's got a caravan heading up to Aurora's demise, and the tread's crawling with enough trouble to need a proper pacer. He crossed his arms. You asked me how many girls never come back. Well, we lost a lot of good runners, lad. Someone's got to keep those merchants from getting themselves gutted by whatever's crawling out there. Kai slid the blade into a leather sheath, hitching it to his belt. But I won't send you empty-handed. Korric turned, rummaging in a drawer, and pulled out a small pouch. Green white glaives. Brew 'em proper if the cold gets in your bones. You're sending me with tea leaves? Oi, don't be a cheeky bastard. Korric shot him a withering look. Course I'm not sending you with just bloody leaves. What do you think I am? I know what you are to me. Yeah, well... Korric's jaw worked for a moment, but no words came after. He placed a heavy hand on Kai's shoulder, squeezed once, harder than necessary, then let go. I said it once, but make sure to keep your head down. And stop by the tavern in Evergloom. He paused. Eat something. Superstition of mine. I will. Don't leave during the veil. Go at the churn. I'll sort the rest of your supplies while you get in a good kip. Kai set his pack aside. As he turned toward the stairs, Korric muttered something under his breath. Kai didn't catch it, but he knew what it was anyway. Olindra had stopped mid-incantation. Velthera watched from her obsidian dais as the witch's reinforcement magic unraveled around the crystal heart of the tower in shimmering strands. Maintaining the Sentinel's heart was Olindra's sacred duty, her post within the coven, yet now her focus had shattered. Then, Olindra's frame spasmed violently, jerking like a puppet pulled by chaotic strings. Velthera had seen her coven sister sense relics before, and relished how that insatiable hunger lit up those hollow eyes of hers. But this reaction was far more potent. Something primal flickered in those shadowed sockets. Olindra, Velthera said, her voice slicing through the sudden chaos. What in your far sense disturbs your concentration? Olindra's head snapped toward her with jarring abruptness. Her hollow eyes flickered. The Kris'thal, she rasped with a brittle voice. It awakens. Velthera rose from her throne. Her dark gown whispered across the cold stone as she descended the dais, the fabric trailing behind her. Here? In the Nightshawl? She asked, voice soft but edged with steel. Olindra shuddered, violent spasms racking her gaunt frame. Her fingers clawed at the air, grasping for something unseen. Her eyes rolled back into those deep shadowed sockets.
The resonance. It calls.
Velthera raised her hand. Control yourself, sister. Dark magic radiated from her fingertips. Shadow tendrils wrapped around Alindra like a silken leash. The tremors subsided. Alindra rasped sharply, slumping forward in relief.
Forgive me, dead mother.
Velthera's mind raced as she stepped past Alindra toward the balcony, moving to the balustrade. Yes, the Kris'thal had awakened. But Aira's failure to deliver it eroded her like acid spreading through her veins. Had the witchling been captured? Had she betrayed her? Or had the Kris'thal found a new bearer? Foolish, she hissed. The word curled from her lips. To think the worm's power would bend to anyone but me. She returned to the oratory, back to Alindra, with her composure restored. Can you sense where it is?
Perhaps.
Alindra's gaunt face tightened with concentration as she raised her hands. Glyphs spiraled into the air, weaving together with mechanical precision. She grated an incantation.
Sidis fuscalit kael memvaga Kris'thal.
The glyph spun outward into a brilliant array of directions before narrowing to a single cardinal point. The spell faded, leaving a single mode of light quivering in the air like a compass needle. Well, Velthera pressed.
The northern edge of the bay,
Alindra said,
though its precise location eludes me.
Then go, seek it out. Bring it to me and leave whoever possesses it to the maddening shadows. Alindra bowed low. Her bony frame trembled.
It will be done, dead mother.
The nightmarish witch departed. Velthera clenched her fist until her palms bled. She knew her grasp on the Kris'thal was slipping, but whoever had dared to claim it would soon learn the cost of such defiance. The Nightshawl was hers, and hers alone. Its endless shadows, its consuming silence, everything that cowered beneath its umbral veil, all of it belonged to her.